We are just a few days away from arguably the biggest WrestleMania in WWE history. 13 matches have been announced for the card, and this could very may well be the biggest and the most historic WrestleMania of all time. Both nights of WrestleMania have been announced. The card has been announced, and this year's WrestleMania can very may well alter the landscape of the WWE forever. Now, I'm sure you probably are noticing a bit of a different layout, I guess, compared to normal. That's because I'm no longer using my Pixel phone at the moment. I'm actually using the iPhone to film this video with you guys. Because my phone right now is currently being updated right now as we speak. Because right now I can't really send texts anymore. I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get straight into it, because there is definitely a lot to talk about. So we're gonna kick things off with night one of WrestleMania, and it starts with the 6-man tag team match that was announced just last week on Raw, as the Usos and LA Knight will do battle with the World Tag Team Champions Logan Paul and Austin Theory of the Vision, and of course I Show Speed. Now, because that I am using the iPhone, you guys will hear a little bit of background noise, so forgive me on that. But this whole thing between these 6 men pretty much started like last year. Literally at last year's WrestleMania, when Seth Rollins was the one that formed the Vision. Excuse me, alongside Logan Paul, alongside Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and of course Bronson Reed. And over time, the Vision kind of was. It was very success. It actually succeeded. It literally succeeded. We saw Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank. We saw him cash in Money in the Bank less than a couple months later to win back the World Heavyweight title. And it just kind of went downhill after that. Once he dropped the title, Logan Paul joined the Vision. Austin Theory ended up joining the Vision after War Games, and it just escalated to the point where now, for some weird reason, I Show Speed has gotten himself involved in this whole ordeal, and here we are. Why I Show Speed decided to even get involved in this whole ordeal is beyond me, but it all has to do with the fact that Danhausen cursed I Show Speed. So yeah, we've got that going for us. But I will say, as my phone is just now being updated, I will say that that I Show Speed is he's in my opinion, I feel like I Show Speed is way in over his head, just because of the fact that when you look at everything that's happened with the Vision, with I Show Speed, when you look at everything that's happened, a lot of people have a lot of people believe that Aisha Speed's way in over his head because of the fact that he's going up against, because of the fact that Aisha Speed is going up against a former world champion, former tag team champions, a former champion in NXT, and in a way, he kind of is. He's way in over his head. But Logan and Austin believe that Aisha Speed will have their back, but I don't see it that way. But I will say that this will be very interesting, to say the very least. And we found out that match will be kicking off WrestleMania Saturday at the top of the show. So who do I believe is gonna win? I mean, it's Aisha Speed. He's way in over his head. I gotta go with the Usos and LA Knight. Next up, we actually have the unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Now, obviously, we know that Drew McIntyre's obsession of being world champion, making it to WrestleMania as world champion, has been bugging him for years. Ever since he dropped the WWE title during the pandemic, things have not gone his way. They have not gone his way in any capacity. And in my honest opinion, I feel like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Am I still in it? Okay, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, as I was saying, this whole, ever since he dropped the title during the pandemic, Drew has been so vindictive over everything. He was vindictive over The Miz, over Bobby Lashley, screwing him out of the WWE title. He's been vindictive over the Bloodline, screwing him out of the WWE title. Now he's been vindictive not only over Jacob Fatu, costing him the WWE title against Cody Rhodes a little over a month ago on SmackDown, but also think about this. Jacob Fatu accused Drew McIntyre of attacking Jacob several months back on SmackDown, putting him on the shelf for weeks. The problem is, Drew claims that he didn't attack Jacob Fatu. But the question is, who really attacked Jacob? Who attacked him? No one knows. No one knows who did it, but apparently it is all eyes on Drew McIntyre. But apparently it's also all eyes on Cody Rhodes. No one knows. But this rivalry had escalated so far that this went into uncharted waters, and Nick Aldis, the GM of SmackDown, decided to make the match an unsanctioned match. Now, obviously, for those who are unaware, an unsanctioned match means that WWE cannot be held responsible for what happens to either Drew McIntyre or Jacob Fatu, and neither of those two men can sue WWE, nor can they sue each other for what they do to each other at WrestleMania. And the only way it wins by pinfall or submission. And I have a feeling that this match is going to escalate far deeper than we had ever hoped. But who walks out as the victor? This is one that I cannot predict, solely because of the fact that it's an unsanctioned match. The possibilities are out there, and you never really know how the match will turn out. You never know how it'll turn out at all. Like, it's impossible to predict. If I were to predict who will be the odds-on favorite going into this match, I would say I would say Drew McIntyre, solely because of the fact that he's always had the mind game advantage over Fatu, and I think that's what will probably give him the edge going into WrestleMania. Next up we have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title, and this whole thing goes back to last year on SmackDown in Chicago, when Becky Lynch actually this goes beyond that. Actually, this goes way beyond that. This rivalry goes back to when CM Punk returned to WWE at Survivor Series ironically enough in Chicago in 2023. Seth Rollins had an obsession with CM Punk because of the fact that because of the fact that CM Punk came. How can I say this? Because that CM Punk came back to WWE after 10 long years, Seth Rollins was obsessed with the fact that Punk decided to come back to WWE after all these years, and now, and the only thing that Punk was after was two things: becoming a world champion and main eventing WrestleMania. Both of those things CM Punk accomplished, and Seth Rollins he couldn't do anything about it in any capacity. And excuse me. And even though Seth Rollins has his own match against Gunther, which I will talk about later on in this video, Punk has his own match to deal with against Roman Reigns on night 2. So it's that both those matches will be interesting. However, fast forward to Clash in Paris last year. Becky Lynch cost CM Punk the World Heavyweight title in the main event of Clash in Paris, and it escalated to where Becky Lynch would basically just constantly slap CM Punk, and that forced AJ Lee's hand to come out of retirement after over a decade. Think about that, over a decade, and AJ Lee comes out of retirement. Her first match back in WWE, she makes Becky Lynch tap out in a mixed tag team match at WrestlePalooza. Her second match inside War Games. Her third was against Becky Lynch one-on-one over the Women's Intercontinental title in Chicago, and this escalated to personal waters. And I have a feeling that I have a feeling that we could potentially see a match that could very well steal the whole show, because of how deep this rivalry has become. This could be a very interesting matchup because for one, Becky Lynch is going into, I believe, her ninth WrestleMania. If I remember right, I believe this will mark her 9th WrestleMania. Let's see, WrestleMania 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38, 39, 40, 41. This will be her 10th WrestleMania in her entire career. Where, as opposed to AJ Lee, this will be, I believe, her as far as as far as in-ring competition goes, this will be, I believe, her third WrestleMania. Her first one came about at WrestleMania 30, and at that time, she was the Divas champion at the time. The last time she competed at WrestleMania was WrestleMania 31 back in 2015, and that was the last time we saw AJ Lee in the ring. Fast forward to now, and this will be her third WrestleMania, so Becky Lynch has WrestleMania experience on her side, but AJ Lee has the ring experience overall on her side as well, because of the fact that she's been in the business a lot longer than Becky Lynch. So there's definitely a lot to consider. But I think personally, I think we might see AJ Lee walk out as champion. But if we're thinking reality booking, it'll probably be Becky Lynch that walks out as champion, solely because of two things. For one, Becky Lynch has been obsessed with the title for a long time now. Ever since she took the title from Lyra Valkyria last year, Becky Lynch has been obsessed with remaining women's Intercontinental Champion, and I think we could be looking at a moment in time where if Becky Lynch wins, she'll go down in history as the only 3-time women's Intercontinental Champion ever. However, if she loses, what's next? Where does Becky Lynch go from here? No one knows. Could we see her go after the women's world title? Possibly. Could we see her just leave WWE and just ride off the bat? Possibly. 100. It is very possible. But only time will tell. But I am gonna have to say Becky Lynch walks out as the new women's Intercontinental Champion. Speaking of the women's world title, excuse me. Next up is the women's world title between Stephanie Valkyrie and Liv Morgan. Liv obviously won the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble match earlier this year, back in January in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Obviously she has been very impressive and highly undefeated when it comes to competing in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Royal Rumble was no different, as she eliminated Tiffany Stratton to win the whole thing. This rivalry has gone personal really fast, and it all has to do with the fact that Stephanie Valkyrie believes that Liv Morgan was handed all of her opportunities excuse me, simply just by showing up to NXT in a tryout. She was handed opportunities. She was handed her championship accolades by the Judgment Day, and Liv believes that Stephanie Valkyrie was in the same boat. You guys already know this rivalry has just been all over the place. It's been super chaotic. That's all I'm gonna say. Super chaotic, and it escalated very deeply last night on Raw when Stephanie Valkyrie was being interviewed by Kathy Kelly in the ring, only for Liv Morgan to jump Stephanie Valkyrie from behind, pushing Kathy Kelly onto the ground. And it wasn't pretty. Like, it was not pretty. I can easily... obviously, I can tell, but I'm sure you guys can also tell as well, that Liv Morgan has become very, very vengeful, to say the very least. And I think that vengeance in her eyes is going... It could very may well be her ultimate downfall, because when it comes to WrestleMania, she hasn't had that much success. Her only victory at WrestleMania came about in a kickoff show match at WrestleMania 36 during the pandemic against Natalya. So could history be on the side of Stephanie Vaquer? Absolutely, because while it is true that yes, WrestleMania is where Liv Morgan thrives, it's, as I said, her win and loss record at WrestleMania is not what you would expect. Like you would think that her record at WrestleMania would be pretty good, but it's not. Every single match that she's had at WrestleMania has come about as a loss, including last year's WrestleMania over the women's tag team titles. I think Stephanie Vaquer is going to be walking out still women's world champion. That brings us to the women's tag team titles in a fatal four-way match as the tag team champions Nia Jax and Last Legend will defend their tag team titles against the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and of course the Hall of Famers, the Bella Twins. However, Nikki Bella has been out with an injury for the last couple of weeks, and rumors have been swirling that Nikki Bella might not be cleared enough to be able to make it to WrestleMania. So we could potentially see another tag team make their way to WrestleMania, which, if that is the case, it's all eyes on the Kabuki Warriors, but it's also all eyes on a tag team from NXT. The possibilities are definitely out there, but this has gone. The rivalry between all four of these teams have run so deep that you really cannot explain how deep this went. Like, I mean, think about this, right? There are so many stories to tell involving all eight of these women. Obviously, we all know of the relationship that Alexa Bliss had with Nia Jax, the bitterness that Jax had with Charlotte Flair, Bayley's relationship with Charlotte Flair dating back to their time in NXT, Nikki Bella's beef with Charlotte Flair over the Divas title, part of the Divas Revolution back in 2015. There are so many stories to tell. I can't name every single one, but this is definitely going to be a big matchup, to say the very least, and I think it'll be interesting to see how far this match will go. But I think we could be looking at new tag team champions in Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, because of the fact that Bayley missed out on last year's WrestleMania due to injury at the hands of Becky Lynch, and Lyra wants to go 2-0 at WrestleMania. I think we could be seeing that. I think we could see that. But then again, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, they've been pretty dominant as of late. I don't think they're going to be dropping those titles anytime soon, but only time will tell. But if I had to pick, I would have to say Lyra and Bayley, new tag team champions. Speaking of Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins and Gunther, man, I don't know why Gunther would choose to side with Paul Heyman in any capacity, but the fact that Seth Rollins and Gunther are going at it one-on-one at WrestleMania is absolutely wild. And it's funny because the last time that these two men faced off one-on-one, it was back in 2019 on the road to Survivor Series, and it was in Manchester, England on Raw, when Gunther at the time was known, went by his real name, Walter. He was the NXT UK champion, and he had Imperium, which featured at the time Fabian Eichner, Marcel Barthel, and of course Alexander Wolf. Obviously Wolf now obviously doing his own thing outside of WWE. Fabian Eichner, obviously once known as Giovanni Vinci, he's doing his own thing outside of WWE. Ludwig Kaiser, we don't know where the hell he's gone. He's been doing his own thing. So Imperium has been dead for a while now, and Gunther is at it on his own. but yet he's decided to side with Paul Heyman. And to be honest, when it comes to WrestleMania, Gunther's track record has been pretty decent. Has been pretty decent. I mean, yeah, sure, he did lose his last 2 WrestleManias, but to be fair, WrestleMania 39 was his crowning achievement. Think about this. He went into WrestleMania 39 as Intercontinental Champion and walked out the same way. Last year's WrestleMania, he walked in as World Champion, and even though he lost that match, all 3 of his matches at WrestleMania proved that Gunther belonged in WWE, and I think this matchup is going to have a lot of controversy for all intents and purposes. But if I had to pick, I think it's going to be Seth Rollins, because of the fact that last year's WrestleMania, he actually came out on top. And Seth's track record at WrestleMania has been sparkling. His first 2 WrestleManias, WrestleMania 29 and WrestleMania 30, absolutely incredible. Nothing but dubs. WrestleMania 31 was essentially in Yu-Gi-Oh terms a 1-for-1. He may have lost against Randy Orton earlier in the show, but later in the show, he walks out WWE Champion. WrestleMania 32, out with an injury, so he missed out. WrestleMania 33, 34, and 35, nothing but dubs. Nothing but dubs. 36 didn't go his way. 37 didn't go his way against Cesaro, and of course against Kevin Owens. 38 didn't go his way against Cody Rhodes. 39, however, did go his way against Logan Paul, and then both nights of WrestleMania 40 against both Drew McIntyre and the Bloodline, not so much. But last year, it definitely went his way. So when it comes to WrestleMania, history is definitely on the side of Seth Rollins. I think that could be his big upside, which could very may well be Gunther's downfall. Which brings us to the main event of night 1, and there is a lot at stake with this matchup. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton for the WWE title. Everything is on the line. If Randy wins, he becomes a 15-time champion. If Cody wins, then Pat McAfee will leave professional wrestling for good. Whether he was an active competitor or whether it was commentary or whatever, he leaves professional wrestling altogether. So there is a lot at stake in this matchup, but it's weird because Randy Orton was expecting Drew McIntyre to walk in WrestleMania, and we were going to see a babyface Randy Orton, but now we're seeing a heel Randy Orton because of Cody Rhodes, and apparently people want to see Randy Orton walk out as a 15-time champion. Now, don't get it twisted, right? While I do want to see Randy Orton become a 15-time champion, I want to see that more than anything else. But the one thing that I didn't like was the fact that Pat McAfee essentially turned his back on his fan base and kicked Cody Rhodes low when Pat McAfee, was a huge Cody fan. He was a huge fan of Cody Rhodes. Yet Pat McAfee, not only did he turn his back on Cody Rhodes and the fans, but he essentially turned his back on WWE, talking down on WWE, and there's definitely a lot at stake. Honestly, this is one matchup that I really can't predict, solely because of the fact that you have 2 guys who are fan favorites. You've got Cody Rhodes, who ultimately became the guy in WWE. He became the new John Cena, if you will, where he wins his first WWE title, holds it for a year, drops it on one night, takes a break away from the title picture for a few months, and now he's back in the title picture. Now he's champion again. Honestly, I can't predict this one. I don't know who's gonna win. I honestly don't know who I want to see win. That's a huge ordeal. No one knows. No one really knows who. No one really knows how this match will play out, because if you look at last year's WrestleMania, it was Travis Scott that cost Cody Rhodes the WWE title. But this year, Randy Orton has Pat McAfee in his corner, and the question is, can history repeat itself for Cody Rhodes? Will Cody Rhodes drop the title to Randy Orton? It's possible, but Cody Rhodes could also very well have learned from his mistakes from last year's WrestleMania. The possibilities are out there, but I don't know. I want to see Randy Orton become a 15-time champion, but at the same time, I kind of want to see how Pat McAfee would respond if he ends up leaving professional wrestling. I don't know about you guys. I want you guys to let me know down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on that matchup, but that one I cannot predict. But we move into night 2 of WrestleMania. I mean, think about this, right? Big meaty men slapping meat. The Big E special, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, they're gonna kick off night 2 of WrestleMania. I mean, it's big meaty men slapping meat. You can't go wrong with that in any capacity. And Obafemi could very well be the next Brock Lesnar. He could be the next big thing in WWE, and he could potentially be the same guy. Obafemi could potentially be on the same path as Brock Lesnar, where he wins King of the Ring 1 month, and then a few months later, he's instantly a world champion. Honestly, I want to see that for Obafemi. I think he could do a lot of big things on the main roster, but we'll have to wait and see. But there's been a lot of rumors that this WrestleMania is going to be Brock Lesnar's last WrestleMania ever. And do I believe it? Absolutely, 100%. I 100% believe that this could very well be Brock Lesnar's last WrestleMania ever, because there have been rumors that he's going to retire at SummerSlam later this year in his hometown, in his old stomping grounds in Minneapolis. Possible? Absolutely. But with WrestleMania, is he going to go down without a fight? No, he is not going to go down without a fight. But we all know that this is the clear case of the young lion trying to chase after the OG. It's gonna be interesting, but I think Obafemi is gonna walk out with that dub, and it ain't gonna be pretty for Brock Lesnar. That brings us to the ladder match for the Intercontinental title between the champion Penta and his challengers Javon Evans, Rusev, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough of the Judgment Day, and the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. And honestly, hang on guys, fucking my fucking phone is not acting right. Okay, yeah, my phone's not acting right. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with my phone. Unfortunately, I can't send any more texts anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I need a new phone. My grandmother doesn't want to get new phones, but whatever. Anyway, moving on. This matchup is gonna be a little unique because of the fact that this will be the first time in a while that the Intercontinental title will be contested in a ladder match at WrestleMania. But I mean, you've got so many different clash of styles. You've got 5 superstars who are high flyers, and then you got a big dude in Rusev. Penta has decided to put himself in a massive disadvantage. Because of okay, there we go. Okay, so all I had to do was just turn off RCS and turn it back on. Anyway, as I was saying, Penta decided to put himself at a huge disadvantage because of the fact that he's going up against multiple guys in a single match, and one of them is a Hall of Famer. But who walks out as champion? I don't think it's going to be Penta. I think it's going to be Rey. I think it's going to be Rey Mysterio, solely because of one thing, and it's not just the fact that he missed out on last year's WrestleMania. It's because of the fact that rumors have been swirling that Rey Mysterio is going to be retiring at Clash in Italy next month, at the end of next month in May. So there's definitely a lot riding on the side of the Hall of Famer, and it's gonna be a little interesting to see how that match plays out. And I know that I've said that word interesting a few times today. I do apologize, but I mean the scenarios are exactly that. They are interesting. But again, my money is definitely going to be on the Hall of Famer. Next up is Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Title. This one is going to be chaotic. Jade Cargill now has a vendetta against Rhea Ripley over the fact that Rhea Ripley attacked both B-Fab and Michin on SmackDown this past Friday, and Rhea Ripley has not been world champion in well over a year, so this will be something. And also too, because that this is Jade Cargill's first WrestleMania as a champion, the WrestleMania championship jitters are definitely gonna hit Jade Cargill. But think about this: Rhea Ripley is the only woman in WWE to walk into WrestleMania and either chase after a championship or defend a championship. Think about this: the NXT Women's Title, Rhea Ripley, the only woman to defend the title at WrestleMania. The Raw Women's Championship, the Women's Tag Team Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Women's World Championship, and the WWE Women's Championship. Every year that Rhea Ripley had competed in WrestleMania, she has either chased after gold or defended gold. So Rhea Ripley definitely has history on her side, and it's gonna be very, I know I shouldn't say it again, but interesting to see how this match will play out. But if I were to make a bold prediction, I gotta go with the Eradicator. I gotta go with Mommy on this one. Rhea Ripley against, come on. Don't get me wrong. Jade Cargill is going into this match with a lot of ego and a lot of confidence. But Rhea Ripley is going into this match not just with confidence, but with conviction as well, and that could favor, that right there could favor Rhea Ripley, but it could also favor Jade Cargill as well. Only time will tell. But next up, we've got Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States title. Man, I never would have imagined seeing Sami Zayn walking into WrestleMania as a champion. The last time that was the case, he the last time that was the case, he was the Intercontinental Champion, and he ended up dropping the title because he refused to defend the title during the pandemic. Think about that, guys. Think about that. But the last two WrestleManias that he had been a part of, WrestleMania 39 and 40, have always went his way. Nothing but dubs on that end of the spectrum. History will definitely be on the side of Sami Zayn, but this is Trick Williams' first WrestleMania ever, and I've got a feeling that with Little Yachty in his corner, I mean the multi-time platinum recording rap artist Little Yachty in the corner of Trick Willie, I got a feeling that Trick Williams definitely is gonna have, no pun intended, a trick or two up his sleeve. But I gotta go with the man with them lemon pepper steppers, Trick Williams, new U.S. champion. Next up, I'm just gonna straight up say it. I feel bad for Dom. I feel bad for the AAA Mega Champion Dominic Mysterio, but my man fucked up. The man fucked up, kicking Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. Now he faces the Demon. Enough said. Demon wins. Plain and simple. Just, that's it. Demon wins. I'm calling my shot right now. Finn Balor wins it with the Demon. Enough said. But that brings us to the main event of night 2, and this match will definitely alter the landscape of WWE forever, and it will also alter the landscape of Monday Night Raw forever, as CM Punk will defend the title against the Men's Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns. The amount of constant bullshit that these two have had spewed to each other, mind-blowing. Nothing but pipe bombs, man. Nothing but pipe bombs. You guys have seen the pipe bombs. You've heard the pipe bombs. I don't have to say anything else. But the question is, who walks out as World Heavyweight Champion? It's funny that Roman Reigns decided to choose CM Punk and the World Heavyweight Championship, because Roman Reigns called the World Heavyweight Championship the losers bracket, the losers championship, when he was the WWE champion, and now he's going after the very same title that he disrespected. I mean, Roman Reigns brought that upon himself. And now the question is, can he truly take back his words and become World Heavyweight Champion? While I do believe that yes, that is the case, this has been the best version of CM Punk that we have seen ever in his illustrious career. This has been the best version of CM Punk we have ever seen, and I have a feeling I have a feeling that we could be looking at the match that will steal WrestleMania. Another one of the matches that will steal WrestleMania. But I gotta go with CM Punk. I have to predict CM Punk. I think Roman's bitterness over CM Punk is just gonna take over. Punk wins. But I do want to get your guys' comments on this whole ordeal. Let me know down in the comments below your predictions on WrestleMania and who you believe will walk out as a champion. Let me know down in the comments below, and that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.